It is Tuesday, November 16th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. And now, a guy who almost left us to run away with the fair, J.P. Shadrick.
I missed it this year. You did like a funnel cake or something. Welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. Yeah, I needed one. My name's J.P. Shadrick. We've got a busy couple hours ahead here on Jaguars Radio. In fact, Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman, of course, every Tuesday joining us. He was drafted in 1989. That's a little while ago. We'll recap Week 10. The Colts over the Jaguars 23-17. We'll look ahead to Week 11. That's next on the schedule. The San Francisco 49ers come to town to face the Jaguars. The fourth home meeting for the Jags against the Niners, only the third here in Jacksonville. Remember, they played in London, the first London game at Wembley Stadium some years back. And the Urban Meyer Show starts at 5 o'clock with, you guessed it, head coach Urban Meyer on the Jaguars Radio Network, as always. We're recapping, of course, this past Sunday's Jaguars loss. The Jags defense had another good day at the office after an early surge by the Colts. They gave up 93 rushing yards to Jonathan Taylor in the first quarter, but then shut it down for the most part after that. They allowed only 2 field goals in the final 10 Colts possessions of the day, and that's good work to keep the Jaguars at least in the game, but unfortunately the offense couldn't do much with it. They struggled to take advantage of that good field position, and especially in the first half. 6 of the first 7 drives were 3-and-outs for the offense, including 3 straight drives that started right around their own 40-yard line, coming off 3-and-outs forced by the Jaguars defense. They couldn't take advantage of any of those. And then the special teams. A punt blocked early. It was returned for a touchdown, made it a 10-0 game. Then an offensive touchdown after that for Indy made it 17-zip and felt like things were going the wrong way. The Jags missed an extra point. Matthew Wright missed a 51-yard field goal as well. Urban Meyer on Monday discussing coming off a loss, taking a look at what happened, and where they could have found points this past Sunday.
I want everything to feel different, taste different, act different when you win. When you lose, you just show that's what videotape's for. And that's where you reward, I always start each meeting, reward the guys that played really well. And then you got to show. I think it became that way in college as well, and I don't want to keep relating college to pro, but that's where I spent the majority of my time, that these are grown men. These are people. You have conversations with them, explain the plan to win, explain the situations where we lost by 6 points and where those 6 points could have been made up. And it was all over the field. We could have made those 6 points up.
Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman joins us now here on Jaguars Happy Hour. And, Urban's right. I mean, there were a few different places where they could have found some of those points. First off, good afternoon to you, Lageman.
Good afternoon.
I didn't mean to point you out, drafted in 1989.
You're trying to make me feel old?
I don't know. That just came up in my head for some reason.
All right, I hear you trying to make me feel old. I'll take it as that.
It's okay. Your experience. Let's put it that way. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's another way of saying you're old. Yeah,
it's a good thing, though.
JP.
But you've seen games like this with your experience. You've seen games like this before, where one side of the ball's playing well, the other side just can't get it together, and then all of a sudden there's a special team score for the other team, and it's tough to win like that.
I can tell you that I've seen a lot of games in the National Football League in my years to where you have the start like that happened in that game, and where the Jaguars give up 2 quick scores, and then you give up a special team score, and then that's it. I mean, the game's over at that point, and it never becomes close again. So I give the Jaguars, first of all, give the team credit because they fought back. The defense battled back from an absolutely abysmal start to where they had just a couple breakdowns, but they never let it shake them, and they realized that, hey, look, we were just out of our gap a couple times, and Jonathan Taylor hits off some big runs, and that's what he's going to do because that's how good he is. If you make a mistake, he will make you pay, and that's what happened. But I give them credit because they battled back. Fortunately, the Colts didn't completely stick with the running game because if I'm Frank Reich in that position, and I've got Jonathan Taylor with 10 carries for 93 yards and a touchdown after 2 possessions.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz might be lucky to touch the ball. Okay, it might be just like what Jimmy Garoppolo did last night against the Rams.
Yeah, right?
I mean, seriously.
Absolutely.
So
he threw the ball 19 times in the whole game or something?
What is it about former quarterback head coaches that they just got to feel the need to throw the football? I don't get it.
Yeah, but
right. Give the Jaguars defense credit. When after those first 2 drives of the game, in which the Colts, they go down and score, and then you get a punt blocked, and then they go down and score again. Okay, was that right? Yeah, punt blocks.
That's right.
That's the exact way it wasn't. So the next 3 Colts possessions were 3 and outs
off the field
for the Jaguars defense.
Perfect.
Great job. I think they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total in the game, 3 and outs. Is that right?
That's right. And now in that sequence, there was a Devon Hamilton sack on the first 3 and out.
Yes.
There was also a big run on the second of those 3 and out drives that was called back on a holding
Thank
call.
goodness, and it was a phantom call.
That's right.
On Reed.
We'll take the 3 and out. I'll say that.
Me and Tony Baselli are in the broadcast booth, and we're looking at the replay, and we're going, that was called? Okay. I hated it for Chris Reed. He's a former Jaguar, and he was a nice guy, but he got called for one that probably shouldn't have been called.
Either way,
it happened.
Gets the credit for those 3 and outs, though. They stood up big.
Yeah, the Jaguars' offense is out of sorts.
Yeah.
And you go back and you look at where the out of sorts began. I don't know if they've ever really hit their stride, but look, in London they played well. Trevor was looking good. Mm-hmm. And even in the game before that, I thought his pocket presence was just tremendous. And then the last 3 games, not so good. Well, what's happened in the last 3 games? Well, you haven't had your best running back up to full strength.
True.
Okay, he got hurt in the Seattle game with the heel, did not play in the Buffalo game, and then he tests himself out and he plays in this past game. But you can tell that he doesn't quite have that extra something that James typically has. You know what I mean? And you can see it like when he gets into the open field. And James is not an elite speed guy. He's not like an ETN. Once he gets in open field, he's going to be gone. That's kind of his weakness, if he ever does have a weakness, is that he doesn't have great speed. But he's still got the ability to accelerate through a hole. And I didn't see that on Sunday. But I'll tell you this, JP.
Yes.
He should have started the game.
Okay.
Should have started the game.
Yeah, he didn't start. Yeah, Carlos Hyde took the opening snaps of the game.
And I didn't like that. And here's why. He's your best player on offense. Would you argue with that?
Not at all. No.
Okay. Is he the without question starter running back?
Yes.
Best player, so. Best running back?
5.5 yards a carry? Sure.
Best player on offense?
Sure.
If I've got a player who is willing to suck it up and play hurt, because that's what's happening if he's out there testing his foot heel before the game to find out if he can play, even if I have him on a pitch count, he's going to take my first snap. And he should take the first snap. He's earned that right. And I think that's something that I think if Urban could look back on in hindsight, he might change that. Because I think as a coach, sometimes you're not tuned in because, look, players in the NFL, sometimes they have incentives in their contract for the number of starts that they have. Some of them just want the respect of being declared the starter, especially when you're saying, hey, I'm willing to play hurt for you. Then you have to be able to make sure that you give that respect back in turn, and that's by starting the player. And so I was a little surprised at that, and that, hopefully James is not mad. Yeah. But I've seen players in that situation that will forever stick with them.
And it was only, the first drive, Hyde, and then they had the punt blocked in return for a touchdown. They come back out on offense, and James Robinson standing behind the quarterback, right beside him. So it gets a carry and a pass to him.
Put him out there for the first play. You don't even think about doing anything else. If he's playing for you, he should be out there for the first play.
Then there were special teams issues in the game. Punt blocked, and then a missed extra point, a 51-yard field goal. That's a long one. It was close off to the right.
You had 2 big special teams errors early in the ball game.
Yeah.
You had the blocked punt, and then they score, and then you had an okay kick return. You get a penalty on that, so you have essentially back-to-back penalties.
Yeah.
We're just back-to-back bad plays. And the punt protection is very simplistic. And it's not hard. I mean, seriously, if you can count 4 or 5, you can do punt protection.
You only need one hand for that.
One hand. The punt that got blocked, it was 3 guys. If you're Logan Cook and you're looking at it,
okay,
you've got left of center, there's 3 Colt defenders.
Okay,
and then you have, for the punt team, you have a guard, a tackle, and then a wing.
That's 3 guys.
So you have 3 guys.
Correct.
To block their 3 guys.
Yes.
Okay, and if you look at it, the wing blocks number 1. And you count the defenders from outside in. Okay, so the wing blocks 1, tackle blocks 2, guard blocks
3.
Thank you. You're learning.
Thank you.
Okay, and when the ball is snapped, you set back. You're retreating a little bit. And the reason you do that is because let's say 2 and 3 decide to cross. Okay?
Like a stunt.
Okay,
right.
Let's say 3 runs into the guard. Okay?
Yeah.
If I'll simplify. If 2 and 3 cross, now the guard and the tackle have to switch responsibilities. You don't chase the number 2 guy all the way inside of the guard if you're the tackle. You block the guy that becomes number 2. The problem happened, Chappelle Russell, who is the tackle, he goes to block 1. So now you have 2 and 3 left to be blocked by the guard.
The guard, that's it. He's got to pick one.
Which is Shaq Quarterman.
Yeah.
So Shaq blocks who he's supposed to block. He blocks 3. Okay? And 2 gets a free run. Now,
didn't even touch him.
Andrew Wingard sees it late, but he's got to block the right side because there are 5 over there.
Okay, well, yeah.
Okay?
It's important.
There's 5 over there. So you have, counting the center that goes to the right, that's 4. Personal protector was Wingard. He becomes 5. So he's got to go to the right side initially. One of them blocks or actually steps out and leaves, doesn't come. So now he makes sure that everything's clean at the center before he cheats and looks to the left side. By that time, 2's already passed. So a lot of people thought, well, it was Wingard that gave up. No, that's not Wingard's responsibility. The fact that Wingard got a piece of him was good. I mean, because most PPs wouldn't even have gotten a piece of them. So the mistake is that Chappelle should have been on what became number 2, and he was blocking number 1.
I don't remember that being an issue yet this year. I don't feel like many have been close to being blocked this year.
Well, punt
just
protection.
Off the top of my head.
Punt protection, when it's like that, is not hard. Okay?
Yeah.
It can be difficult if you have 4 or 5 guys lined up, and then you have, let's say, 4 on the line of scrimmage and then 2 behind.
Who's coming, who's not.
And then all of a sudden they mix and match and stunt and do all this kind of stuff because then you can kind of lose count. But when you have just 2 guys crossing, that's not very hard. That's like punt protection basics. I mean, that's one of the easier stunts that there is to pick up. That's not hard at all. And the Jaguars were fortunate. There was one other punt that had some leakage that could have been an issue later in the game. So you had 2. So here's what's going to happen. The 49ers, they're coming. Make no mistake.
Yeah, test it out.
49ers are coming to block punts this week. So you better get it cleaned up because they are coming, and they're going to come nearly every time. I guarantee that.
I mean, he was so clean, he nearly took the ball off Logan's foot.
Could have tackled him. He really could have.
Yeah.
If he had accelerated through the hole
right.
and realized that he wasn't going to get blocked, because I think it was almost in shock. Right. But if he had accelerated through from the snap of the ball, he literally could have tackled Logan Cook before he even started to take the second step in the punt. And so that's why my point is that this week you better be ready.
Here we go.
Because what they call it, the people sometimes call it the copycat league, which is smart football. Because if you're getting ready to play a team that had an issue with a particular play, you better make damn sure you're going to try to make sure that they fixed it. Because if they hadn't fixed it, you want to make sure that you are there to take advantage of it.
Yeah, get that opportunity because that could come around. PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. We're back with offensive talk. Logs, we're going to get some answers out of you.
I got answers for you, JP. I got answers.
We got plenty of questions. Let's see if you have all the answers.
I got answers about wide receivers.
Oh, we'll talk about that and plenty more ahead. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by Dreamfinders Homes, homes that fit your lifestyle. And by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here to tell you where to find the most authentic Southern Pit barbecue in all of Jacksonville. That's right, Bono's. For 72 years, Bono's has been smoking real pit barbecue right here on the First Coast. Smoked for hours, served in minutes, and always cut to order. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field. Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
So, it's happy hour. Let's talk whiskey options. Have you tried Citrus Distillers? Have you tried Citrus Distillers Limited Edition 2021 Barrel-Aged Jaguar Whiskey? Did you know it's only available for a limited time and manufactured in Jacksonville? Yes, Jacksonville. I said local whiskey. Try it on the rocks or in a Jack's Whiskey Sour. Citrus Distillers Jaguars Whiskey is available at local liquor stores, restaurants, and the Jaguar Stadium. Drink local, Jacksonville. Find recipes and events at jaguarswhiskey.com.
Great teams leave it all on the field. But with the powerful towing and payload that Ford F-150 delivers, you can take it all with you, too. No wonder Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 44 years straight. The 2021 Ford F-150, built for greatness. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
When Jaguars news breaks, you'll hear about it first on 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Like I said, I'm hard on myself, and I expect to play really well every game and put us in a position to win. And just a lot of reasons offensively, we just didn't play great today. I thought we picked it up a little bit at the end of the third, or mostly in the fourth quarter. But we just got to play better, and that starts with me. And so I'm hard on myself and got to get better. But I mean, yeah, there's going to be things you got to go through and stay positive. That's what I'm doing right now. And the locker room is in good spirits. Obviously, we're pissed off. We had a chance to win that game, should have won that game, and didn't. So, but the locker room's good, and I'm good. Just gotta let it simmer for a day and then move on. And we got to go play San Francisco. So.
Let it simmer for a day. That's the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, who was 16 of 35 passing for 162 yards. He was sacked 3 times, lost the fumble at the end of the game, ran the ball 5 times for 33 yards, and welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman, Joe Fortunato, Brent Reber along with us today also, and the Jaguars face the 49ers. We'll get to that team coming up in just a little bit, but Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars offense. They had 7 3-and-outs in the first half. No, 6 3-and-outs in the first half, in the first 7 drives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had the Agnew touchdown run on a 4-play drive. They had a 6-play drive for a field goal at the final gun, 56-yard field goal, by the way. So they couldn't move the ball outside of those 2 scoring drives at all.
Well, it wasn't very good, and I think the thing that concerned me is that it almost looked like Trevor's play regressed. I think that was his worst game as a pro yet. And look, it's never going to be smooth and perfect as a rookie as far as, okay, every week you see him get better. I mean, but it's like stock market. It's up, down sometimes, but you just want the progression to still continue up. And the last 3 games make you kind of go, well, has he progressed? And I think you'd have a hard time pointing to the numbers to say that he has progressed. Early in that game, the play that I didn't like was play action. He rolls out. His receiver that was supposed to be in the flat gets picked off by a defensive end. And so now he's lost his short, immediate option, and he throws it up. And when he threw it up, it was the defensive back, and I think it was Kenny Moore dropped it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was right there in the hands to be caught by Kenny Moore, and he drops it. That's like one of those things where you go all the way back to the first couple weeks of the season, and you just got to say, well, you can't do that. And then I thought at times his pocket presence wasn't good, and that the eyes dropped a couple times, which that's something that we really haven't seen with him yet. And part of that is that the offensive line needs to be better earlier in the game, but also you go to the sack at the very end of the game, okay? Got a chance to win the game.
You're in plus territory. I mean, you're in their side of the field.
And I'm talking a great chance to win the game.
2 timeouts left.
You got plenty of time.
Right.
So on the play that he gets the sack caused fumble on him, he drops back. The Colts are bringing pressure. You've got it picked up, okay? Just needs to climb the pocket, step forward a little bit, shuffle his feet forward, keep it balanced, and make the throw. And I think it's Marvin Jones coming across right in front of him. And his eyes drop, and he kind of goes to run. Okay, if you're going to do that, now you have to take the next step, which is ball security. Tuck it away. And he doesn't do a good job with that. So 2 mistakes there. Really 3. 1, he should have just stepped up into the pocket, climbed the pocket, realizing that he had the protection. He doesn't do that. Should have made a throw. Doesn't do that. Okay, now you decide to run it. Okay, when you do, tuck the ball away and protect it. Because if you take a sack there, line up and play another play.
Or call a timeout, whatever it takes.
I mean, you're okay.
You got time.
And so that wasn't a great sequence for him. But the first play of that drive, he gets sacked because Norwell got beat by Buckner. So, I mean, you sit there and you go, well, why do the eyes drop? Well, first play of the drive.
Forrest Buckner's coming on your
whacked.
backside.
Yeah,
right.
he got whacked.
Yeah.
So, and there were times where he didn't have a whole lot of receiver separation. So it was not a good performance. And that's the hard thing of being a quarterback in the National Football League. JP, it is by far, it is the hardest position to play in all of professional sports. And it's not even close. So it takes time, and unfortunately it takes some growing pains and some hard lessons.
You know, it brings me to the last night. I fell asleep at halftime of the Monday night game, but watched Peyton and Eli again, right, on the ESPN2 feed.
Okay, how was that?
And it was great. So to the point here, Phil Mickelson was on with them, and Phil was doing a great job asking.
Okay, well, real quick. Does Phil have a golf tournament this week?
No.
Okay, good. If he did, don't pick him.
And he said, I took off this week for a reason because the curse is real. Anyway, he was asking about, hey, what happens, Peyton, when you're at the line? Like, what is your progression from when you break the huddle to the snap as a quarterback? And Peyton went through it. You start from the line and go back. It's how many guys are down up front. What's going on with the linebackers? Is there a guy off to the side? What's the secondary doing? 1 high, 2 high safeties? What's the deal here? And that's all within like 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to think about even pre-snap, and then everything happens once the ball snapped. That's all happening.
Mm-hmm.
And for a rookie and all that going on, I know it's Trevor Lawrence. He's been at it for a little while. That's a lot to digest as a quarterback.
It's a lot. And that's why you rarely, if ever, see a rookie that has great success. The ones that do have great success play the game in a very loose fashion. When I say that I mean you see the running quarterbacks have success in their rookie year because they're not being forced to drop back and play quarterback. They're
just
doing
playground.
They're doing college football quarterback things,
right.
okay? And when RG3 was with Washington Redskins, they did a lot of that. Some of that, the read option stuff becomes part of the game. And you hear a lot of people say, "Well, how come they don't do more RPO stuff with Trevor?" And here's the thing: they do RPO stuff with Trevor, but at the end of the day, do you want to expose your quarterback to more hits?
That's right.
No,
not at all.
I don't want a young quarterback out there running and risking the development to where he can't play the rest of the season because I want to have him gain 8 yards for one game. I mean, if you look at it from a big picture standpoint, that's very short-sighted. You have to look at it from the big picture perspective and deal with some of the things that he's going to have with growing pains. But in the long run, it's more beneficial. But to go back to this again, I'm going to reiterate this.
Mm-hmm.
The last 3 games have not been on the trajectory that you want. It needs to get better. And again, that coincides without James Robinson being at his best.
It would help if the receivers, the play out there improved a little bit down the field, right? I mean,
there was one guy,
JP.
Yeah. Look, the receivers got to get better separation. I'm going to tell you that there was one wide receiver that I thought deserved a game ball.
Who would that be?
Laquan Treadwell.
Treadwell.
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yep. I thought he played really well.
I mean, you say that. He didn't have, what do you have? 1 catch?
Yeah. Tell me
for
about
18 yards.
Tell me about that catch. You remember that catch? Third and
kind of off balance.
Third
behind
and 12,
him.
way behind him high.
Yeah.
Hell of a catch.
Great catch. That's one play though, Logs.
First catch as a Jaguar.
Why else should he get a game ball?
And we've got this audio, okay, because the great Vince Lombardi had a famous play. Then this goes back football from years ago. Let's just play this and then I'll explain, okay?
If the end has the linebacker taken in, he will come around it and seal inside. What we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
All right, that's Vince Lombardi, of course.
One of the greatest NFL films segment that there has ever been.
Yeah, that's the Green Bay sweep.
And if anybody ever wants to check it out, just all you got to do is go to YouTube and type Lombardi Seal, S-E-A-L, not like – so because what he's saying is –
wait a minute, not S-E-A-L? Wait a minute.
Not like the animal that you see S-E-A-L, same way. But not like the animal seal, with the seal like a Ziploc bag seal. You're trying to get a seal here and a seal here.
Yes, you are.
It's a great video. And when I saw the 66-yard touchdown run by Jamal Agnew, it came right to my mind, the Vince Lombardi little piece. And sure enough, it's very similar. That play, you have shotgun with Jamal Agnew lined up offset. And by the way, we're going to be drawing this for Jags Wired tomorrow night.
How convenient.
Okay.
How about that?
And you got to get a seal, and the seal happens from a couple different guys, okay? Manhurts blocks down. There's an inside seal. And then you have Laquan Treadwell coming down and blocking Darius Leonard.
Wow, against one of the great tackling linebackers in football.
All-pro Darius Leonard.
Yeah.
Okay, and he doesn't just block him. He owns him. I'm telling you, go back and watch that play.
I'm going to watch Jags.
And watch Laquan Treadwell on him because he does a great job. So then you got to have the seal to the outside.
Yeah, you got a seal here and then a seal there. So we're talking about the there one.
Because so we talked about the seal here because the seal here is Manhertz,
yes,
Laquan Treadwell, and then Shatley, who has one of the hardest jobs on the play. He's got to hike the shotgun snap. Then he has to pull around Manhertz because he has to block the backside linebacker.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Not an easy block.
No.
Not an easy job to snap and then pull and then block. And then the seal to the outside is Cam Robinson kicking out the defensive back, and then the safety will be unblocked. So you're hoping that the running back can beat him one-on-one.
Right.
The Colts actually had a nickel blitz coming from the backside, rotate the safeties, and the safety goes back to the deep middle. So by the time he realizes what's coming, he goes to chase Jamal Agnew down, and then the speed of Agnew negates the angle, and it's 6. But that's the Lombardi play.
That's the Packers sweep. And 21.6 miles per hour on that run by Agnew, the fourth fastest in the league this year, fourth fastest.
Yeah, you could tell. I mean, when the safety was trying to catch up,
see ya.
It wasn't happening.
No chance.
I was in the booth, literally. As soon as he got to the outside, I had my hands in the air. You know, and the safety looked like he had an angle. I said, there's no way. I had my hands in the air. Touchdown. Knew it.
You called it.
Gone.
Way to go.
Seal here and a seal here and right in the alley.
Some more of those. Oh, thanks. That wrong seal, Joe. But I get where you're going. We're back in a moment. We'll look ahead to the San Francisco 49ers. They're coming to town in week number 11. And check out the official Jaguars Podcast Network lives. It's free on Apple, iTunes, or Spotify. Yes,
they got a lot of seals in San Francisco, by the way.
They do. They do. Absolutely they do.
I've seen them.
They're everywhere.
I know it's true.
That's right. This is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by TIAA Bank. Turn potential into progress. And by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Jags fans, did you know you can ride your bike to every Jaguars home game at TIAA Bank Field and Valley Park it for free? That's right. Stop by our bicycle check-in tent sponsored by Alert Today Florida near Gate 1 at TIAA Bank Field. An on-duty ZenCog bike professional will park your bike and ensure it's secure during the game. When the game is over, return your claim ticket to pick up your bike. For cycling safety tips, visit alerttodayflorida.com. Remember, Alert Today, Alive Tomorrow, because safety doesn't happen by accident.
Headquartered right here in Jacksonville, CSI Companies is one of the fastest-growing workforce solutions companies in the nation. As a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI has the resources necessary to scale with any enterprise, yet they are small enough to maintain the agility, personal service, and remarkable experience they've become known for over the past 3 decades. This is your workforce and your business reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com to learn more.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
The Land Rover Defender story began with the simple thought of creating an exceptionally capable off-road vehicle, becoming the go-anywhere, do-anything all-terrain machine. Today, there's a new Land Rover Defender, the toughest and most advanced Land Rover vehicle ever. From the beginning, Land Rover knew the new Defender was capable of great things. Motor Trend's 2021 SUV of the Year is just the latest example. Test drive the new Land Rover Defender today at Land Rover Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard, or go to LandRoverJacksonville.com. Land Rover, above and beyond. Hey Jaguars fans, it's always game on with Dunkin's $2 medium hot or iced coffee Tuesdays for rewards members. The NFL season is more than just what happens on game day. That's why Dunkin' wants to get you through the game week too. During football season, the best call is always Dunkin'. Whether it's the morning after a late night game or getting hyped for the week to come, pick up a cup of your favorite coffee and tackle the day with Dunkin'. Join today and order ahead of the Dunkin' app. Jacksonville Jaguars run on Dunkin'. Exclusions apply. Participation may vary. Limit 1 per week.
Jacksonville Sports Talk for Jacksonville sports fans. 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
For whatever reason, one of those stretches where we're a little out of sync and we got to get it fixed. It's just details all around every position group. It's cleaning up the details, being on the same page. And then just as simple as making the plays. I mean, there were so many opportunities today. Missed a few throws, had some drops, like all over the field. You know, we gotta make those plays, and that's on all of us. And just that's what's frustrating is when you lose a game like that on the final drive, you fumble and game's over. When you had a chance to win, but then you look back and you had so many opportunities to execute on and put yourself in the situation to get points or to score or whatever, and we didn't. And the defense played great. I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row. I love the way our defense is playing. If they keep doing that, we're going to have a chance to win every game. And us as an offense, we got to take some responsibility and get better and put the right foot forward. So we'll do that. We got to just stick together, and we're going to do that. But definitely need to play better.
The quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, after the game Sunday in Indianapolis. And welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman coming up. In a little less than 30 minutes, it's the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network featuring, you guessed it, head coach Urban Meyer. He'll join us. We'll recap the game, look ahead to San Francisco. We'll get an early preview of San Francisco in this segment here. Well, last night, they beat the hell out of the Rams.
Good. Really good team.
Beat them.
I'm saying the Rams, really good team.
Yeah.
I question a little bit with the Rams in that why would you risk maybe upsetting some chemistry things by bringing in an Odell Beckham. I think that's a question mark. Von Miller, I don't think is a question mark because the guy is an A-plus guy. But when you have an offense that's just running so well with the pieces that they have, why would you risk disrupting that by bringing in a guy who, unless he's kind of the center of attention, he's never been happy?
Well, the trick now is with Robert Woods out, he tore his knee up, which happened on Friday.
Was
after
crazy,
the
timing of it.
Like it's, maybe it'll work out, but I mean, they didn't have him, and they looked lost on offense.
Yeah, I know Troy Aikman did a radio interview early this morning. I got a lot of respect for Troy. I know him very well, and Troy usually doesn't say anything unless he really believes it. And he talks about how, as a quarterback, when you bring in a guy like that, it can upset the balance. And because you have a guy that kind of commands demands, either way you want to put it, the ball. And so it can distract a quarterback from doing what he's supposed to do, which is deliver the ball to the open receiver, irregardless of who they are, or what number they're wearing. And I thought Troy was, he's being fair. And, I mean, Troy had Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper and guys that were really good, but Troy threw it to the open guy.
Yeah.
Even though Michael Irvin may not have liked it, that he made sure that it was going to the open guy. So I think that's going to be interesting to watch. What happens to the Rams and Matt Stafford now that Odell Beckham has arrived? And if you track the numbers from prior to last night, and so you look at that, and then you look at from last night going forward, it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Well, the 49ers defense, held the Rams to their lowest point total lowest yardage total of the season, by the way. But San Francisco held the ball offensively. They ran the ball a bunch. Time of possession was like 40-20. I mean, it was crazy.
And I just pulled it up.
Yeah.
49ers had the ball 39 minutes and 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay, 64 plays. The Rams had 54 and only 20 minutes, 57 seconds time of possession.
Yeah.
And the 49ers came out and said, we're going to play smash mouth football, and you can't handle it.
They're doing this toss stuff and running the ball all day.
But Deebo Samuel into the backfield too at times, because he's your best player, and that's what you do with your best player. If you're not going to throw the ball a lot, Deebo Samuel can run the ball just like a running back. He's good now.
Yeah.
He's good, and I think they did a really good job with the game plan, and I think it's going to be a challenge. It's strength on strength a little bit this week. 49ers are going to come out, try to run the football against the Jaguars, and the Jaguars have been pretty good against the run.
The 49ers offensive rankings this year, well, they're 13th in the league in total offense, 13th in rushing, 13th in passing. They are number 1 in the red zone, though. Once they get close, they finish with points. Number 1 in the league, in fact, in red zone offense. Goal to go, they're in the top 5, and they score middle of the pack, but they give the ball away a good bit. 14 giveaways this year on offense. But if they put together a performance like last night, they're going to kind of hang around in the NFC wildcard chase, that's for sure.
Well, they should, and I think something that has certainly, or I would say, has taken them off track a little bit, the whole drafting of Trey Lance.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what do you think, first off, of Garoppolo? Obviously, they ran the ball so much last night and do a good bit. And then they've got Lance in the, third overall? I mean, that's a lot of quarterback equity there.
Well, first of all, I like Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, if you look at the numbers, when they have him, they win. The problem with Jimmy Garoppolo has been he hasn't been available. And so I understand why they end up drafting a quarterback and utilizing those type of resources to bring in who they feel is going to be a generational type prospect, because Trey Lance is super athletic. He's got a great arm. And when I say great arm, the arm strength is there to make all the throws. He was highly successful at college. So I think there's a lot of upside there. But it's, when you draft a quarterback like that, you're basically telling your team that the guy that we have as our guy is not our guy. And this is different than the Packers drafting Jordan Love. Jordan Love.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's different. Okay, Jordan Love was taken like in the latter part of the first round. That's the message from that is that we feel like that we want to develop a guy for the future. When you draft a guy at third overall, it's saying we're drafting this guy to be the future like now. Maybe this year.
The future is now kind of deal.
It's different.
Yeah, and now remember the Patriots drafted Garoppolo second round. Brady's still there. They were developing this guy. It didn't obviously work out for him there. They traded him off, and he got his money in San Francisco.
I think he's a good player. I go back, what was it, a couple years ago? 2 years ago, was it that we went to San Francisco?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not really San Francisco. It's Santa Clara.
Right.
Okay, and the Jaguars were playing pretty well, and Jimmy Garoppolo in the play action did a number on the Jaguars defense that day.
Really?
I mean, an absolute number. And it was like, oh, my gosh. And that was either 17 or 18.
It would have been 17. Yeah, it was 17.
It was 17.
It was 44-33 at San Francisco on Christmas Eve.
Okay. That was the 2017 Jaguars defense now.
Yes, it was.
Which was
really
good.
Jags had clinched by then, remember, that day.
Yeah, but they didn't play it like that. It's not like the Jaguars played that game. And now they may have clinched it that day, but they came out to play now.
I think they clinched
They didn't know it
I think
because it was a late game, okay?
That's right.
So it kind of happened in progress of that game, but here's the reality. They played that game to win it. And Jimmy Garoppolo and the play action, the Jaguars defense didn't have an answer. That's how challenging that they can be. And when Kyle Shanahan finds his groove as a play caller, which obviously he loves as any coach would love to be able to have a great running game, to be able to call play action and such, but that's right down Kyle Shanahan's alley. Play action off of a really strong running game. And last night he didn't have to call a whole lot of play action. He just kept running the ball.
I'm going down the rabbit hole now. The box score of that game in
What
2017. Oof, bringing back some awful memories. All right, so defense. What kind of pass rusher is Nick Bosa? What do you like about him?
One of the best. What do I like about him? He does everything. He's not a one-trick pony. He's got power. He's got speed. He's a technician. He has counter moves. He is athletic. He plays the run hard. There's nothing not to like about Nick Bosa. He's better than his brother.
Better?
Much better. Nick Bosa.
How? Like, just what does the other Bosa not do well? Joey?
Doesn't play every snap like Nick.
Okay.
Nick Bosa, now I haven't watched a ton of him this year, and he's coming back from an injury. But I can tell you before the injury, Nick Bosa would take over a game at any minute. He's that kind of talent. And I like him. I love him. I love guys that play the run. For example, Ngakoue.
Yeah.
Doesn't play the run well. Really sometimes acts as if he doesn't even care about stopping the run at times. But when he wants
or sleight of frame enough, at least in the days he was here, that he'd get pushed around a lot. If they got their hands on him, he's blocked, right?
He would. I'll say this again. He wasn't a willing run. He wasn't a willing run defensive player at times.
Okay,
that wasn't what It's like Deion Sanders didn't want to come up and make a big tackle.
Sure.
Okay, and Ngakoue didn't want to come up and, stick his nose in there. But here's the crazy thing. When he wanted to, he was really good at it at times. Mm-hmm. But he's not a big guy. But anyway, that's what I love about Nick Bosa. The guy plays run, he plays pass, he plays left side, he plays right side. You can take him, you can kick him down as an inside pass rusher. He's athletic enough that you can drop him into coverage. I mean, he can do anything that you ask. I mean, if you had a Nick Bosa and a Josh Allen on the same team, look out. I mean, look out. You would have something. You would have definitely an offensive coordinator's nightmare.
If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. No wonder it's the official truck of the NFL and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll take a look at the injury report. We'll look around the AFC South. All that when we return. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
So, it's happy hour. Let's talk whiskey options. Have you tried Citrus Distillers? Have you tried Citrus Distillers Limited Edition 2021 Barrel-Aged Jaguar Whiskey? Did you know it's only available for a limited time and manufactured in Jacksonville? Yes, Jacksonville. I said local whiskey. Try it on the rocks or in a Jack's Whiskey Sour. Citrus Distillers Jaguars Whiskey is available at local liquor stores, restaurants, and the Jaguar Stadium. Drink local, Jacksonville. Find recipes and events at jaguarswhiskey.com.
Great teams leave it all on the field. But with the powerful towing and payload that Ford F-150 delivers, you can take it all with you, too. No wonder Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 44 years straight. The 2021 Ford F-150, built for greatness. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Ready to take the next step toward the ultimate you. Dr. Patrick Basil, official plastic surgeon of the Jacksonville Jaguars, presents the Ultimate You Sweepstakes. Enter for a chance to win a cool sculpting treatment package valued at $4,500, plus a Jaguars performance training session. Receive your free customized treatment in a relaxed, modern, patient-centered environment. Learn more and enter the sweepstakes at jaguars.com/ultimateyou or call 904-222-6262. Terms and conditions apply. No purchase necessary.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The station that the Jaguars listen to, 1010XL. Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I just said on the radio that, culturally, I'm a big believer in culture. I'm a big believer in leadership. I always have been. Alignment, everybody working together. And enough with the almost. When we figure that out, that's when you win. And I like what was said. I didn't say much after the game. Some players did, and we'll see how we show up next week against San Francisco in front of our home crowd. But I hate to say this because I usually try not to when you lose. But that was that second half where they, on the road against a very good team, they played their tails off, man. And it wasn't pretty, but they could have sucked their thumb and left after the second quarter like you see some teams do. They didn't do that. So I hate to use the word proud, but I am.
That's head coach Urban Meyer. That was immediately after the game Sunday in Indianapolis. And welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. We'll hear more from Urban Meyer on the Urban Meyer Show in a little less than 10 minutes here on the Jaguars Radio Network. And veterans, choose VA for the benefits you've earned. Visit choose.va.gov.
Was Urban referring to you that he was just talking on the radio?
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, he's talking
right
to you.
After our conversation, he goes right into the press conference there.
Okay. Yeah. So good. He had a good conversation with him, and that's good that he gave that information to you first, as he should.
It's very nice. Yeah,
I like that.
The first word with the head coach after the game, and you can only get that on the Jaguars Radio Network, which will begin at 5:00.
When sometimes when you have a coach, just from my experience, sometimes coaches don't need to say anything after a game.
Just lay out.
What I mean by that is that sometimes it's better if he doesn't say anything and just let the players say it or feel it, because they know. I mean, there's games that they know. I mean, what are you going to tell your team? Hey, look, we can't come out and we can't allow 2 scores right out of the gate, offensive, to the offensive opponent, and then get a kick blocked or punt blocked for a touchdown. You can't win. I mean,
well, everybody knows that.
Hello, yeah, Captain Obvious head coach. I mean, so there's sometimes you don't need to say anything. You just kind of let it simmer a little bit, and sometimes it's more important sometimes what you say on Monday as opposed to what you say on Sunday after a game to get your team understanding and believing and getting better from that standpoint. It's the message that you carry to them on Monday and beyond.
Were you a big locker room speech guy?
No, I was never big into that. But, I mean, if I felt the need to say something, you know me, JP.
Oh, you ain't going to hold back.
Yeah. I'm not very good at not saying. Sometimes my mouth leads the way.
Yes.
But I mean, that's
we know where you stand.
That's the good thing.
And your teammates do.
That's a good thing. And I think that's also what players want. Players want to know where they want to stand. And but a coach has to be a little bit more measured sometimes because he has to have a little bit more thought and a little bit more reflection sometimes into the game to be able to react in a positive way. When I say in a positive way, I'm not saying that you always have to go and have sunshine and rainbows to your team after you don't play well. But the positive way is that, in other words, you're giving them something that they can digest to help them and everybody get better. That's what I mean in a positive light.
Let's take a look at the Baptist Health Injury Report. Baptist Health changing healthcare for good. And, well, James Robinson it was a question mark going into the game, of course. Had a game-time decision. He went for it, and we'll see what he's listed as this week. I would guess he'd still be on the report at some point, just the way that went last week. And then there's the guys that are on injured reserve, and Urban Meyer said last week and that Brandon Linder might be available this week moving ahead, which would be a nice step coming off a high ankle issue.
Well, it was a high ankle and a knee, and so it's kind of twofold for him. Can he come back? When we talked about this, I think it was last week, we were saying, okay, with a high ankle, because the high ankle typically is longer than the recovery of a knee that he had, that, high ankle is 6 to 8 weeks, and 6 weeks would put him back about this week, and that would be obviously the earliest time frame. So could he be back? Sure, he could be back. The nice thing is that you have the luxury of Tyler Shatley.
Yeah, right.
Which Tyler Shatley's a good football player. And so you don't want to rush something that doesn't need to be rushed when you have a Tyler Shatley. So you want to make sure that Linder's good to go and that it's best for him, or it's the least likely for him to have a setback by coming back too soon, because you do have a good player that is playing in his place.
Let's take a look at the AFC South results from week number 10. Of course, we know the two teams that were in action against each other. The Jacksonville Jaguars fell to the Indianapolis Colts 23-17. The Tennessee Titans came away with a win. It was closer than they would have hoped earlier in the game. The Saints scored a touchdown late, but the Titans stopped a 2-point conversion try with 1:16 left in the fourth quarter.
Controversial game now.
Yeah, right.
This phantom blow to the head, right? Mm-hmm. That got called against the Saints. And I saw the replay of it. I think that was a terrible call. I think much like we had last week with Tony Corrente hip checking Cassius Marsh, this is another blemish, I think, on the NFL with a bad call. And I think something's got to be done about it. And here's the problem that I have, JP.
Yes.
The call by Tony Corrente was a bunch of BS. Terrible call. Terrible call.
BS.
And then the league comes out and backs it.
Well, they were backing the taunting part of it.
That's not
taunting. Well,
that's
by
never
the letter
been
of the
called.
law and the emphasis.
No, it's not.
It is.
It is not taunting. When you stand 20, 30 yards away from somebody, JP, if I'm sitting here going,
I'm taunted.
Are you offended?
I feel taunted.
Now, if I did that right in front of your face, nose to nose, it's worse.
8 feet away. We're socially distanced, but it's close enough.
To me, it's just, you have to do what's right. Okay, when the official calls taunting, and that's never been called before, when a player's been that far away from a bench area, it's never been called. And that official does a little hip check and doesn't throw the flag while the guy's standing there looking at the sideline. Mm-hmm. He throws the flag after he initiates contact into him.
Right.
Okay? So then you turn around and then you have this call with the New Orleans game.
Mm.
I mean, look, you got to get it right in the NFL. You got to get it right. And so for those that are at Park Avenue, you've got to start making sure that you cannot do things like what you've done last week and this week to lose credibility with your officiating department. If they mess up, then just own it, because nobody's perfect. And that's the problem that I have from the league office standpoint, is that they should have admitted that that was a mistake by Tony Corrente and that it shouldn't have been called, and that they should have instituted some type of 1-week suspension for him initiating the contact on the player. Now, the official that calls this phantom call, first of all, I think every play should be reviewed. And then in that instance, that play should have been able to be challenged or reviewed to get it right. And I think the officials and the NFL need to address that.
Okay, I'm
done with my rant. Thank you.
Down from the soapbox. We're about a minute away from the Urban Meyer Show. Quickly, what do you like to hear from the coach tonight?
I want to hear about the offense. I want to hear about how to fix it. How do you go about changing the way and the direction of the offense as far as getting your young quarterback back on track? How do you quiet the noise?
A lot of football left to get that done, too. I mean, they got some time.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
And I also want to, commend him on the effort that the defense had. I mean, that was a really good job of keeping a football team in the game because it almost felt like it was going to be a boat race early in that game.
17-0. The Jaguars had the ball with a chance to win late. Coming up, the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network. This is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Own this thing. It's ours. Come on, let's go. Duval County and 904. Let's own this stadium. Make it ours.
Welcome to the Urban Meyer Show. Urban Meyer Show. Former Jaguar Jeff Lageman and JP Shadrick discuss the latest Jaguars news with the head coach. The Urban Meyer Show starts right now.
And welcome into the Urban Meyer Show, recapping a Week 10 Jags loss to the Indianapolis Colts. JP Shadrick with Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman and Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer. And good afternoon to you, Coach. First of all, a tough one in Indianapolis. We're in the game late. The defense really kind of led the way, but a tough way to drop one in Indy.
Yeah, we started slow on defense. We gave up a couple of big hits to a great tailback in Jonathan Taylor. But what's amazing is after halfway through the second quarter, they had 8 yards rushing the rest of the game, and our defense really toughened up. And we've last 4 games, from my understanding, is we're one of the top defenses in the NFL right now. The staff and most importantly, the players have really adapted. We changed a little bit of how we do our business in pass defense, but they put us in the chance to go in the game.
Yeah, defense, the way they bounced back was impressive. And, when you got a great back, if you make one mistake, you get one guy out of a gap, he can make you look bad, and that's essentially what happened. You had different guys get out of their gap, and then bam, off to the races Jonathan Taylor goes. But even on those 2 drives, you got a couple mistakes. I thought the defense played well, and what was impressive, Urban, like you talked about the bounce back, the 3 drives after those first 2 drives that they scored on, they were all 3 and outs.
Yeah, we won at one point. We were plus 17 yards in field position too. Our punt team did an excellent job keeping them down in there. The thing we just didn't materialize is on that field position. And that was a big flip. And all of a sudden you start getting the ball in the 38, 40, 42-yard line. Those are you got to answer that bell. And I know we missed a field goal, but the offense did come storming back. Trevor led us on a great drive, and we pounded it in there. And obviously, Aggs is a guy that he's one of the most valuable guys on our team right now. He's a guy that's got legit speed, breakaway speed, and we put together that play to get him in space, and he capitalized on it with a big touchdown run.
Yeah, the defensive start was tough, and you talked about the field position battle there, and you guys did an excellent job in that for the most part. But the first one hurt bad, and that was the punt block. And punt protection is a counting system. You have a count that kind of goes awry, and all of a sudden you have a big play that happens on you. It's hard to win football games in the NFL when you give up a special team score.
Yeah, it's inexcusable, Jeff. That's it's not hard. You got the assignment, you block it, and we missed it.
Head coach Urban Meyer with us. A little more on the defensive side here. Shaquille Griffin had another one in his hands this week. Close play there. Didn't get any takeaways on defense this week. Those opportunities are still coming, though. It feels like you just got to grab those sometimes.
Well, Buffalo game, 5 times the ball's on the ground. 3 of them we got it. The other 2, one we should have got it, but they called forward progress, and then one went out of bounds. So we all know that. We all work extremely hard at it. The style of defense. Now we're facing the quarterback a little bit more, and we expect to keep trying to get those.
Is your defensive staff getting real comfortable? And obviously, comfortable can be a negative term, but what I mean by that is that you know your personnel, you know what they do well, you know what they don't do well. There's got to be some comfort kind of in that, because right now this defense, like you said, over the last number of games, one of the best defenses in the National Football League, and they're playing fast, they're playing confident, they're getting lined up, especially in the last 2 games, and they're playing faster because of it.
Yeah, I think, now that we know our players, the one thing about OTAs, and you're not allowed to do anything competitive, so you really didn't know what we had. And Joe Cullen brought in a system that I wanted here. I really believe in that system. I believe in him. I believe in our staff. And, one sign of a leader is that you can adapt. And I believe Joe and the defensive staff have adapted to what we have. We made a change at nickel and brought in a guy that's been playing lights out, and Rudy Ford, Roy Robertson, and Taven Bryan and Malcolm and Devon Hamilton are getting pressure in the interior of the defense, which is really helping out Smoot and Kay Levon and Josh Allen, obviously. And then our two linebackers are playing really good, Damian and Miles Jack. So a lot of positives right now on that side of the ball. Boy, we're going to get challenged this week.
Yeah, challenged to say the least. And Deebo Samuel's a guy that will challenge you. And that kind of leads me to the next question. Tyson Campbell, I thought he took a step up in this past game. Yep. He had to cover T.Y. Hilton. He looks like he's doing a better job of playing the ball and playing the wide receiver and not worrying so much about getting his head back around on the ball.
Very, exactly. And I just saw him today, and especially young players, it's great to see him just with the look in their eye, with getting a little bit of confidence. Because there was a time now that when Jamar Chase, welcome to primetime, welcome to the NFL, and got beat a little bit. But Tyson's going to be a very good player in the NFL. We're glad we got him.
Coach, you touched on Joe Cullen. He's been around the NFL for a long time, obviously, as a defensive line coach. It's his first opportunity as a coordinator in the NFL. You've known him for a long time, I'm sure. How have you seen him grow in this coordinator role over the first half of the season?
Yeah, I've known Joe a long, long time. Obviously, he's thought of one of the top, if not the top D-line coach in the NFL for many years. A good person. We run in the same circles with friends, and, he's a tough guy. He loves the game of football, and he loves players. And so we share those, characteristics, and I knew I wanted him on our staff. And then his interview went so well that, we gave him a coordinator opportunity. And we had some bumps in the road early on, but I think he's delegating and using his staff very well, obviously. And there are a lot of positives right now on that side.
Well, and 5 3-and-outs in that ball game total for the defense. I mean, that's about as good as you could ask, especially when you get off to a rough start. And Carson Wentz is also no slouch. I think he came into the game with 6 games that he was rated at 100 or better, and he looked for the large part to be ineffective. I mean, just a great job overall defensively.
Yeah, he was. We went into this one now with number 11, Pittman. There are 2 backs, not just Jonathan Taylor, but number 21, the backup tailback's got electric speed, and they use him very well at backfield. And how do you play zone coverage and still stop the run? That's the age-old question in this great game. And we were able to mix it up on them. And our defensive line really controlled the line of scrimmage and put Carson Wentz in the issue that, once again, we didn't hit the sack, but I want to say we got 9 or 10 hits on him.
Yeah, that's a lot for an afternoon of football. We'll come back in a moment. The Jaguars offense, we'll get into that against the Colts coming up. It's the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Great teams leave it all on the field. But with the powerful towing and payload that Ford F-150 delivers, you can take it all with you, too. No wonder Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 44 years straight. The 2021 Ford F-150, built for greatness. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars Game Day broadcasts are presented by ViStar Credit Union, and the Urban Meyer Show continues. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman and Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer recapping the Week 10 game against the Indianapolis Colts. And let's flip it to the offense. Not the start you're looking for, obviously. 6 of the first 7 possessions, 3 and out, some penalties early, and just tough to find a rhythm early in this past week's game on offense.
Yeah, the first play of the game we have a penalty, and one position group had 4 of them. You can't do that. And we're better than that. We expect to be better than that. There are some positives that, we played a very good defense and hung in there, and after that obviously slow start, we drove the ball and put ourselves in position to win a game. James Robinson was down. We still have Linder, who should be coming back this week, and then A.J. Can. But still, we're missing the big hit on offense, and that's why we made a decision to put the ball in. Agnew's one of our best players, and he's proved he's got dynamic speed. He proved again he had guy had an angle on him. He ran away from it. So I'm a big believer in space and a big believer in speed, and we haven't been able to do that.
Yeah, the safety was the one who appeared to have the angle, but a great play design. And Irvin, when I saw that play on film, I kind of remembered back to Vince Lombardi at the chalkboard going, we're going to get a seal here, and we're going to get a seal here, and we're going to run it right up through the alley. That's exactly what that play was for Jamal Agnew.
It's exactly the play that Zeke Elliott took 85 yards against Alabama, and Treadwell cracked the backer. Great player. We cracked him and accelerated right feet, stayed on him. Manhurts had a great block. Our 2 pullers got out in front, and then he outran an angle. And like you said, that's exactly what you did. You try to stop the defense on one side, you kick out the other side, and that's what you do, create a seam, and really well done.
Yeah, and you mentioned Laquan Treadwell. He had to block Darius Leonard, who's an all-pro linebacker, and that wasn't the only block that he had. I would consider Laquan Treadwell for a game ball, the performance that he had, because the block that he had on that long run, he had 2 great blocks on J-Rob's two runs that he had on a scoring drive in a ball game. And then the catch that he made on a 3rd and 12 was high and behind him, and he pulls that thing out of the air for his first catch ever as a Jaguar. I thought he had a marvelous game.
Yeah, it was his best game, and you shouldn't be fans of players, but I'm a fan of his. He just works. He doesn't say much. He wants to be great. He was a first-round draft pick, and for whatever reason, struggled a little bit in the NFL, but he's talented, and more importantly, he's a tough guy that everybody's got respect for around here.
Zeke Elliott, I think, is still running in that Ohio State-Alabama game, by the way. Head coach Urban Meyer with us. Speaking of running backs, James Robinson, another game-time decision, was not out there at the start of the football game, came in later. It felt like he kind of got going in the second half a little bit. What was the decision process there, and how's he going now on Tuesday?
Yeah, he's much better. We expect him to be full speed for this week. We're hoping. Obviously, we'll see how it goes here the next couple of days, but he's a tough guy, and he wanted to play. We want him to play. Carlos got the start, and then James went into the game. We had a couple where he got him out in open field, and he still didn't have that. You could tell he's kind of dragging a little bit. He had great runs, but expect old James Robinson back this week.
By the way, Urban, could you detect a little saltiness in JP's voice when he's talking about Zeke Elliott against Alabama there? I mean, I don't know if you know, he's an Alabama grad, so, I mean, you got to forgive him. Yeah, you got to forgive him a little bit.
I'm sorry, I forgot that. Yeah,
it's been a minute.
He's a little salty.
I'm over it.
But, Urban, your young quarterback has had a tough go of it lately, and some of it coincides with James Robinson not being available. And sometimes with a rookie, they can be a little bit overwhelmed. How do you slow it down for him again and kind of get him refocused on maybe a core of beliefs in playing quarterback?
I think early success is something that when we were just actually watching it, we came out of the Dolphin game, was best game as a Jag, and he hit an early pass and to Agnew. And, it's a matter of timing with the wideouts, trust of the wideouts. He got hit a little bit too much in this game too. So we got to be really smart. Obviously, we're playing a team this week that's got 2 elite pass rushers. So it's a combination of all. A quarterback be the first one, and I'll say this. You've heard me say it. When he has a great day, it's because people play great around him. When he struggles, it's because people struggle around him. And we all got to play better.
Yeah, there's no question that offense has so many different keys to success, whether it be protection, everybody being on the same page, chemistry, some things that go unspoken, the communication between players. And it's always a work in progress, but the one thing that you always want to see is see it to get better week in and week out. And that's always a challenge, isn't it?
Oh, sure. That's when we're still a relatively young team. When you lose your center, that's the apex of the offense, and you got a young quarterback and only one veteran receiver, and as a group the receivers got to play better. Our tight ends did not play their best game. They had some really good plays. Dan Arnold continues. I understand he's like in the top 7 in production in the NFL for tight ends. That's a great get for us, but we got to play better.
Yeah, he's the number 1 target, number 1 in receptions, number 1 in receiving yards for the Jags since his arrival here as well. And how about the play that got you down close to the goal line? That was a nice pickup for Dan Arnold, and you can talk about him every week, obviously, but he's been the number 1 target for Trevor.
Yeah, and the guy we got to get more involved is 10 and 11. 10 and 11. 10's a talented player and might be playing him out of position at times on the outside. He's more of an inside guy, so we're working through that.
One play in particular, he's lined up in the backfield, and you got a little wheel route, and it just doesn't happen. That play, boy, when you look at that one, you go, gosh, boy, if you just found that one or you saw that one, it might have been a huge play in the ball game.
Yeah, we missed one block on a counter play, too. That's he's out if we make that block. So there's a lot of what-ifs. Offensive football can't be what-ifs. It's got to be execution.
How's the offensive line as a whole playing for you right now, you think?
Yeah, they played better the week before. Obviously, against Buffalo, we felt like they hung in there. They're keeping Trevor upright. We didn't have our best day. Some guys played okay, but as a day, as a whole, we didn't play. We got challenged a little bit. Whenever you get in a game like that, you start throwing the ball. We're not meant to do that, and we got down 17-0, and we fought back and made it 17-6, and then all of a sudden you work your tail off to get it to 20-17 with a chance to go win it.
We'll come back in a moment and preview the San Francisco 49ers, and this is the Urban Meyer Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
Jags fans, did you know you can ride your bike to every Jaguars home game at TIAA Bank Field and Valley Park it for free? That's right. Stop by our bicycle check-in tent sponsored by Alert Today Florida near Gate 1 at TIAA Bank Field. An on-duty ZenCog bike professional will park your bike and ensure it's secure during the game. When the game is over, return your claim ticket to pick up your bike. For cycling safety tips, visit alerttodayflorida.com. Remember, Alert Today, alive tomorrow, because safety doesn't happen by accident.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubby's Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our Scrubbing Soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome back. JP Shadrick with Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman and Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer as the Jaguars welcome in the San Francisco 49ers in Week 11. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff time, 10 a.m. Pacific. We'll take that. That's good news for the body clock. Short week for San Francisco. But, Coach, it's a team, I don't know if you watched it all last night, but they just hammered the Los Angeles Rams and held them to their lowest point total and yardage total of the season on defense. This is a team that might feel like they're back in it.
Yeah, they've played great. I didn't want to say I didn't expect it, but, boy, they were all over them. And that started with an 18-play drive. And at one point on the 12 straight first downs, they ran the ball, and they ran it hard. And 19 is one of the best players in the NFL. And I've respected him. I've watched him. And then I actually made a cut up today of how they used him. And him and 85 are, they're the reason that's who they are. They're as good of players as they're at their position in the National Football League.
Yeah, two guys that would fall into that category of being elite players. And when you got an elite player, you got to find creative ways to get them the ball. And in the way that Kyle Shanahan, as you talked about, Deebo Samuel lining up in the backfield as a running back, he lined up as a wide receiver. I mean, when you got a great player like that, they try to hide him. But that's something that your defense is going to have to figure out exactly where he is at and identify where he is at, know what he's going to be doing.
Yeah, the offense is triggered around 85 and 19. They have also a good back. I understand he's like a fifth rounder, but he's 4.3 speed. He's fast, only about 205 pounds. But make no mistake about it, they do an excellent job of moving people around and motions and running the ball. But they also, the ball, Garoppolo does not hold the ball very long. He gets it out quickly, but number 19's has got a lot of respect for him as a player.
Yeah, Elijah Mitchell, the running back you're talking about, a 6th-round pick, and they've got a stable of running backs, and they like to run the football. And one of the things that I've seen in the past with them is when they get running the football, and they didn't do a ton of it against the Rams, but once they start running the football, they love play action. That's Kyle Shanahan's game.
Yeah, it's a combination. Everybody wants to do that. That's the game of football. You run the ball well, and we're playing our best. That's exactly what we are. Run the ball well, and it's also you don't let people just pin their ears back and come rush a quarterback when a hard play action run. Because the defensive lineman, it's as a fan and everybody just remember you can control what the defense does. If it's run action, they're going to play the run. If it's drop back pass and show a high hat, high hands, you're facing with the Nick Bosa's and number 91, and that's something you have to be very cautious with in this league.
Yeah, and offensively, the other guy that I would put in the category is kind of unique in that they use him in different way. Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback / tight end that they have. Look, not many teams in the National Football League have a true fullback on their roster, and I don't know if I'd call him a true fullback or not. I just call him a good football player.
Yeah, they flex him out on had a big third down completion, like on an option route or drag route, and he's a finisher and blocks. So they've done a nice job putting that team together.
Head coach Urban Meyer with us on the Urban Meyer Show. You'll look across the other side and see Nick Bosa. What is your first thought when you see somebody wearing the name Bosa on the back?
Well, I'm very close with the family. Obviously, you got the coach of the two brothers, Joey and Nick. His father was a first-round draft pick. His mom was a graduate of Ohio State. And I'm very close with Nick. I love the guy. He's a we talk about +2. He's a +2 animal. He's a guy that, he's got extremely powerful force behind his pass rush, but he also has great speed. So, and his sidekick right there, 91 next to him, is this problem.
Yeah, you look at Nick Bosa and Joey Bosa, and both of them have just tremendous lower body strength, the way that they play the game. And I'm sitting there watching these guys come out of Ohio State every year. You got the Bosas, Chase Young. Did you recruit all these guys?
Recruited those names, yeah. And Sam Hubbard and Tyquan Lewis, and a bunch of good ones in there.
Jeez, did you leave anybody for anybody else? I mean, holy cow! Talking about owning the corner of the market on defensive ends.
Yeah, I heard Chase Young tore an ACL too, and he's a great guy. And but we got to focus on Bosa. We got to know exactly where he's at all the time. They make it a little more difficult because they play him on the right side and left side now. I think predominantly he was a left side guy, so you knew where he was. Now they move him around, and that'll be challenging for us. I'm glad we're home.
On the back end, they've got a couple players back there, but Josh Norman's been around this league for a long time. He actually leads the league in forced fumbles. We talked about this last week with Darius Leonard. He had 4 of them going in, but somehow Norman has a knack of getting that ball out.
He sure does. And, the guy last week was something. We held on. We didn't have a turnover until last drive. Yep. And this will be a point of emphasis. We won the Buffalo game because we won the turnover ratio. And that's how to win this one, take care of the ball.
And they've got a great middle linebacker, Fred Warner, who is considered one of the best linebackers in football. And oh, by the way, the defensive coordinator, D'Amico Ryans, was a pretty good one in his heyday, too.
Actually played against D'Amico when I was at Florida. He played at Alabama. But the middle linebacker, they told me he's the highest paid linebacker in football, and he's well-deserved.
All right, Coach, getting back to TIAA Bank Field, back-to-back home games coming up, and a little home cooking would be nice, I think, for this team.
Yeah, I always say this, and Jeff, I know you feel the same way, is that our crowd, I remember driving to the stadium last Sunday, or a week ago Sunday, and I saw the red, white, and blue Buffalo Bill fans, and I know they travel well. But I'll tell you what, our fans answered the bell. It looked like a full house. The stadium was packed. And then to celebrate a win with their home stadium was what we do this for.
Let's do it again and again,
I'm
Coach.
in, man. Let's go. Let's stack a couple, man.
Stack them up. I like that. Coach, have a good one. We'll talk to you.
Thank you.
Back with more in a moment. It's the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Great teams leave it all on the field. But with the powerful towing and payload that Ford F-150 delivers, you can take it all with you, too. No wonder Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 44 years straight. The 2021 Ford F-150, built for greatness. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome back, the Urban Meyer Show. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. Our thanks to head coach Urban Meyer. He joins us in the first half hour each and every Tuesday afternoon here on the Jaguars Radio Network. A nice recap of some of the issues last week and the loss to the Indianapolis Colts, and a little look ahead to San Francisco. They get it. The offense is not playing that well right now as a whole. The defense, the strength of the team, the last 3-4, last month or so, they've really stood up and played some nice football for this team.
Yeah, you could probably go all the way. I mean, they didn't play well against Seattle.
The one off.
But I mean, you go back and you look at their performance against Miami, which was good. Mm-hmm. Against Tennessee, I mean, Derrick Henry was able to run wild. So when Urban was talking about we're one of the better defenses in the National Football League, you'd probably go back and you look at that last 4 games that they have been one of the better teams in the National Football League defensively. Now they played an offensive juggernaut in the Buffalo Bills, and the Indianapolis Colts also could be considered one of the more high-scoring offenses in the National Football League. So it's not like they're playing a bunch of teams that don't have any high-powered offenses. They're playing offenses that have been pretty good.
And shut them down. I mean, and the Bills didn't have a chance. The Colts, after the first 2 possessions on their offensive side, had only 2 field goals, couldn't move the ball much. So that's a good step. It's just a matter now of trying to get the offense jump-started. And we talk about this every week, Logs. I mean, it's the same similar issues right now. The running backs, a little nicked up, and that kind of changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah, it changes. Let me just go back. Just one more thing I want to add to the defense because, we talked with Urban about how the start wasn't exactly what you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
The game and the start by Jonathan Taylor was tremendous. It was like 10 for 93 and a touchdown.
First quarter, yeah.
Okay, he ended up with 21 carries for 116 yards and a touchdown. So on his last 11 possessions, he had essentially 23 yards rushing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great job.
Fantastic.
A great job. So, kudos to the defense for picking it up in game and then giving the team a chance to get back in it. And a little disappointing that the Jaguars gave up that one scoring drive at the end there, that they were able to make it a 6-point game. But nonetheless, they still kept the team in the game and gave the offense an opportunity at look, if you score a touchdown, you win. And that's all you ask. And the offense just floundered.
Couldn't do it. First half was just awful. Bunch of penalties. Urban talked about that tonight. They had one before the first snap of the game on offense. They had a false start.
Yeah,
we can't have that.
What are you doing? Come on, man. Can't have one before the first snap. Come on.
It puts you behind everything. So they had a bunch of 3-and-outs in the first half. And then finally in the second half, they had a couple of, drives where they moved the ball a little bit more. The opening drive of the second half went, 9 plays for a field goal try. It went no good to the right. The touchdown drive was a 10-play drive in the second half. Those are positive things. They were moving the ball on the last possession as well. They were in the Colts territory.
I know you kind of reach when we all reach when we start trying to find some positives, and we're pointing to that drive. But the offense has to get significantly better. Significantly better. And, and the one thing is that I appreciate is that, we got a chance to listen to Trevor Lawrence earlier and listen to him at the podium. And you can tell that, and that's the one thing I appreciate about great players. They own it. When I say they own it, they realize that it always starts with them first, and they always point the finger back at themselves before they try to point the finger at anybody else. And I think that's a real positive, yes. Pointing this way.
Well, I was trying to think. What's the old saying? If you point a finger to somebody else, you have 3 fingers pointed back at you. That's the way the hand is formed. Think about that for a while.
Maybe, and then you might have 4. Back
if you count the thumb.
You count the thumb pinning back.
That's right. So there's that.
Like
there's that. So what are we doing? Great question. Special teams issues. Obviously, we touched on that throughout the afternoon here, and then got to block the guys.
Well. Special teams is always one of those things to where it's you always notice it if something really bad happens or something really good happens.
Right.
But overall, besides the punt block and then besides the penalty on the kick return, but you can never do that, much like, Urban was talking about, you can't say, well, if we didn't have this, we didn't have that. You can't do that. But the punting by Logan Cook, I thought was good. The field position was won by the Jaguars, which that also, if you look at the percentages of scoring based on the field position start. So if an offense starts at, let's say, the 20 to the 25 versus the 30 to the 35, the percentages of scoring go up exponentially, the better the field position.
Urban's talked about this before. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, in that game, the field position for the Jaguars, when you look at it, it didn't start well because you had the penalties. But here's a little stretch of field position for you.
Mm-hmm.
You had the ball, and this was the 4th possession. You had one at the 38.
Yep.
The 5th possession was at the 37.
Mm-hmm.
6th possession was at the 43. Now, those 3 possessions, you've got to get some points. And guess how many you got out of those 3 possessions?
0.
You got none. You got none.
To move the ball, get a field goal, something. They couldn't. They would 3 it out.
Got to get some kind of payment back for the field position battle right there, and that was disappointing. And the Colts, when they had field position, the second possession of the game, they got the ball at the -47. They took it in for a touchdown, and that's kind of how it works typically.
When we return, Trevor Lawrence talk. How do you keep his spirits up? Or do you have to prod him too much, I wonder?
What do you mean?
It's not playing well. Offense is struggling. We'll get into that.
All right.
Think about it.
I'm thinking.
We got a couple minutes.
I'm thinking.
And this is the Urban Meyer Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit vystarcu.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
It's been around longer than your quarterback. When you put it on, everyone knows it's game time. So legendary, it deserves its own Hall of Fame. Members-only jackets, undeniable quality and style for over 45 years. Scratch and claw your way over to membersonly.com. Get ready for football season with a jacket that can only be summed up in one word: iconic. Use discount code Jaguars at checkout for 35% off on all iconic racer jackets. Members only. When you put it on, something happens.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, Joe Fortunato, Brent Reber. Glad you're along with us on this Tuesday afternoon. The Jaguars host the San Francisco 49ers Sunday. It's Week 11 at TIAA Bank Field. Trevor Lawrence, the numbers last week, well, let's see, 16 of 35, 162 yards, a 59.5 rating. And those aren't too appetizing. It's frustrating. The offense isn't moving. There's some drops, wide receivers. Dan Arnold's been the most targeted player of Lawrence since Arnold has arrived here. That also means that there's not a lot down the field because Arnold's not a down-the-field type of guy yet.
I think he can be.
At some point, he's going to have to be, right?
I think he can be. I think that and look, he hasn't been perfect either. He's had drops.
Yeah.
So he's not immune to anything, but I believe that he can be a downfield threat if they get him in the right position with the right coverage and the right matchup, because I think he's very athletic, and very smooth. The 2-point conversion will go down as he doesn't even get credit for a catch, I don't think, under the stats page for that.
No.
But I think there should be a way to include that number into somebody's stats. But nonetheless, I think it was an excellent play by him, and he is really good at something like that. Got quick hands, got strong hands, and he's fluid. I mean, he's as fluid as the guy that we're going to see this week, Kittle. But Kittle is like he's another level. Yeah. I'm not trying to say and put him in the same class as Kittle.
Breaking news.
Yeah, I don't want.
Lageman says no.
But athletically, when you watch Dan Arnold move, he moves just as athletic as Kittle. Now, Kittle, I think, is a little different in that he's got a level of toughness. He's a real good blocker, a better blocker than Dan Arnold. But I like what Dan Arnold has been able to give to this team. And to think about it now, it's not like he had training camp and the off-season OTAs to build a relationship with the quarterback. He's built that relationship because he's getting open and he's getting separation. And I think that they can, just like we saw in this past game that the coaches started to get a little creative with things for Laviska Shenault.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've got a couple guys now that you can say, we can do this for him because he can win. Jamal Agnew, okay, you did that little design where he's in the backfield on the handoff.
Sweet.
Green Bay Packers getting them in the alley kind of play. And then you've got Laviska's a guy that you can design some plays for. And then you have Dan Arnold, a guy that you can design some plays for. Now, after that, I'm willing to listen.
Okay. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm open for suggestions.
There's, that's the trick. What other dynamic players are there on the offense like that? There aren't many.
I like Marvin Jones Jr.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Am I designing plays for Marvin Jones Jr.?
We're not lining Marvin Jones Jr. up in the backfield. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, none of that stuff.
But I'm not even designing plays for him I'm going to have him run routes and be a primary target.
Yeah.
But he's not a guy that I'm burning the film up and I got my Einstein board and we're going to figure out a way to get Marvin Jones Jr. the ball. He's not one of those guys. And I think that's why when you can get a weapon like a Deebo Samuel, or you can get a weapon like a Pittman, who the Colts have, who I think he's just starting to scratch the surface, but he's a top 10 wide receiver. Those are the guys that you need to get.
Yeah, I agree. Got to have
But
them.
here's the deal, JP.
Yes.
Are you getting them right now?
No.
When do you get them?
You get them in, free agency and the draft. Those are the two player acquisitions.
So
times.
you either should have gotten them already,
or you're going to get them,
or you got to get them coming up.
That's
right. And I've said this before. You can't fix everything in 1 year. You can't do it. You'd like to, but you can't do it just because you can't allocate the resources to just that position. You got to address everything. I mean, this Jaguars defense, you look at them, okay? Last year, they were 30th in the league against the run. Dead last, I think, in the National Football League in sacks with 18. Or it might have been second.
It was close. Yeah, it was very
right
close.
At the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, they go from 30th against the run to now they're 11th. And also, they're one of the top 5 teams. I think they're like number 5 in yards per rush allowed.
It's good.
So they've addressed that.
Real nice.
So that's good.
Put a lot of money into it. Yeah, we talked about
They've gotten better against the pass. Okay, last year they had 18 sacks. How many they got now? 16?
Yeah.
17?
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you exactly. 16. So they're 2 away from matching the season total from last year.
It's good. Improvement.
But you can't address everything. And then also, you felt like some of the guys that you had, DJ Chark, okay, these guys would be able to play and they would be significant contributors. Now you've missed a little bit in some waiver wire acquisitions, guys you acquired in the offseason. They're not producing for you. But that happens. That happens. And so next year, the draft, free agency, you have to – and they address the tight end. But now next year, you got to address the wide receiver position. You got to address the weapons for the quarterback. Etienne was going to be a guy to help the quarterback. You can't help him. But next year, I think you'll also have – and, you don't want to keep saying that to people in midseason, next year. Because at some point, you got to say this year.
Yeah, I mean, right? You got to win now, right? At some point, you got to start winning.
But there's no question that you have to give this quarterback better options.
We'll return and take a closer look at San Francisco's weapons. Both sides of the ball. They have guys that can play. They got a big win on Monday Night Football last night as well. And this is the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network. Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Great teams leave it all on the field. But with the powerful towing and payload that Ford F-150 delivers, you can take it all with you, too. No wonder Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 44 years straight. The 2021 Ford F-150, built for greatness. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Pinpoint, the official signage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, helps business decision makers like you maximize the impact of their brand. Your company's identification, advertising, and even the words you use make an impression on your clients. With Pinpoint as your coach, you can make sure it's a good impression. Pinpoint provides the creative design and production services for anything you need to enhance your brand, from custom signage to complete marketing solutions. Step up your game with Pinpoint and create the ultimate brand experience for your clients. Visit experiencepinpoint.com.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
We're back. The Urban Meyer Show rolling along. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. The Jaguars face the San Francisco 49ers coming up in Week 11 at TIAA Bank Field. A San Francisco team that beat the hell out of the LA Rams last night on Monday Night Football. Logs. They shut down Matthew Stafford and an offense that had added OBJ. Woods is out. He's got a knee injury. They've got all these weapons everywhere. Their defense is loaded. They just ran the ball on them all night.
What part of that game did you enjoy the most?
The opening drive for San Francisco.
Pretty good, right?
They went right down the field and took the entire first quarter to do it.
One of my highlights was watching Jalen Ramsey just crying on the sideline, just, barking at the coach.
Well, careful what you wish for, because we're about 3 weeks away from going to see him at SoFi Stadium.
I know. Look, and if he plays well, more power to him. And I've never had a personal problem with Jalen. I've always gotten along with him well. But some of his antics here, I was not a big fan of, and the antics that you saw last night, I was just going, man, it's good not to have that antic here. But I can tell you this: you'd love to have him the player without the antics. He's an exceptional player,
no doubt about that.
And I don't know if he's the best corner in the league. I haven't seen everybody play, but he is certainly one of the better corners in the league.
When he wants to be, he can be.
That's one of the things with Jalen when he wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
And don't let him give something up, because he'll point the finger and blame somebody else when it's his fault.
Well, I'll say this: Deebo Samuel can make a lot of people look bad. The way he plays for San Francisco, and they lined him up in the backfield last night. They had not really run him a lot this season. He'd only had 6 carries all season long entering the game. He had 5 last night for 36 yards, including a touchdown run. Samuel, of course, 97 yards receiving and another score through the air last night for the 49ers, and he can get it done. He's second in the league in receiving yards. He's 4th in the league in yards per reception. He runs after the catch better than anybody in the league right now, and that is a huge challenge.
I was just checking our sheet, our pregame thing where we do our fantasy football picks to see if anybody had Deebo Samuel this week, and I don't see anybody that did. That's a good thing. That would have been a bad thing if, of course, I wish I'd picked him.
Yeah.
I had Mike Evans, and the Bucs didn't do so good. That's all right. And by the way, I said this to JP earlier. I got a call.
Oh, here we go. See, all right, we're already off the train track.
I gotta say this because I want people to track and see if this holds true. Okay, JP has a tendency in our in-game updates from around the National Football League.
They are the ViStar scoreboard updates, for the record.
Okay, ViStar scoreboard updates. JP has a tendency to highlight his fantasy picks of the day.
Well, I must say that if Dak Prescott throws for 2 and runs for another, it must be reported. I'm just reporting facts. I don't know who I picked. Dallas is beating the hell out of Atlanta.
And here's the crazy part. When I can hear the sneering in your voice when you do it.
There's somebody else. What is somebody else's fantasy guy that's doing well? Yeah, great.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of funny, but it's entertaining. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for listening. Yeah. We appreciate that. The ViStar scoreboard updates.
And I always want to comment on it, but but Frank must not pay attention to it because
you guys got a game to call. What are you worried about that for?
You can do both. You can remember what your fantasy picks were, and then also concentrate on the game at hand.
Well, let me remember the fantasy picks. You guys handle the game action.
JP is.
I'll remind
you're fired up because you are.
All I know is that Dak Prescott had 2 passing and 1 running last week. That's all I know.
And you have been the wire-to-wire leader so far in our fantasy picks,
and still will be. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. Our final thoughts ahead of the Jags and the 49ers coming up this Sunday. And this is the Urban Meyer Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Jags fans, did you know you can ride your bike to every Jaguars home game at TIAA Bank Field and Valley Park it for free? That's right. Stop by our bicycle check-in tent sponsored by Alert Today Florida near Gate 1 at TIAA Bank Field. An on-duty ZenCog bike professional will park your bike and ensure it's secure during the game. When the game is over, return your claim ticket to pick up your bike. For cycling safety tips, visit alerttodayflorida.com. Remember, Alert Today, alive tomorrow, because safety doesn't happen by accident.
Enjoy fall savings going on right now at Renewal by Andersen. Save 20% on replacement windows, patio doors, and installation. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. Designed to withstand the harshest weather environments. Find out more at rbafla.com. This offer expires November 30th and restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, the official window and door replacement company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CGC 1527613.
Fans like you have been told that going all out is going too far. But fans like you know better. You're the kind of fan who loves the team as much as your pet, who paints yourself for game days and dyes your pet's fur to match. You are a rare breed. You are a pet fanatic, equal parts pet obsessed and diehard sports fan. At Pet Paradise, they're crazy about pets too. The official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pet Paradise. It's a new day in pet care.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubby's Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our Scrubbing Soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
We're back. It's the Urban Meyer Show. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman, the Jaguars and the San Francisco 49ers. It's Week 11 at TIAA Bank Field, and it is a long trip for San Francisco. On a short week, 3 time zones away, an early body clock game for them, 1 o'clock here, 10 o'clock there, all of that stacking up against San Fran. We need to remind them of that in the tunnel. Put a sign out there that it's really early in the morning and you've traveled a long way and you're sore from Monday night. You know, like in Denver, they have the altitude sickness is real.
Yeah.
Time zones are real.
You got to play the mental games with it.
Yeah.
I wonder, because going to the West Coast is easier, I think. It's always easier traveling west as opposed to traveling east.
Mm-hmm.
And I never had to experience that as a player of coming from the West Coast to the East Coast. But I can't imagine, because, I mean, it'd be like us having to go to London and play the next day, kind of somewhat. Obviously, the flight's not quite that long, but it's
long.
It's 5 hours,
it's
right?
Healthy.
Is it about 5 hours from San Francisco to here?
I mean, it's got to be at least 4.
Maybe 4.5,
right?
4.5, 5, somewhere right in that range.
4
I mean,
5.
that's a poke.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that some West Coast teams believe in traveling on a Friday to come far to the east. So I wonder if the 49ers will do that.
I mean, the schedule makers did them no favors on this.
I know, in a short week Monday night game and then having to jump on a plane and fly to Jacksonville for a Sunday game, 1 o'clock game. Yeah, that's but that's part of the challenge of being a West Coast team. You know, it is what it is, and you just deal with it. And I think that if you have a coach that doesn't make it a big deal, then I think it's easier to be able to stomach as a team. I always kind of got upset with coaches when they would complain about a schedule when it comes out.
Oh, you're going to not play?
Well, the reason I say that I would have a problem with it is because what purpose does that serve?
Yeah, right.
Is it going to get you a better schedule next year? Is it going to get you a schedule change this year? All it does is it's giving your team an excuse. So you don't talk about it in that light.
Anytime, anywhere.
That's the way you face it.
That's the way it should be.
They give us the schedule, we play it, and we'll be ready. That's how you take it.
I like that.
Simple.
I like that. Well, now, the task at hand this week against a San Francisco team that has some playmakers. They ran the ball well Monday night. They're good on defense, and they have some stars on that side of the ball.
The Bosa challenge is going to be one to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's because the Jaguars, looking in the tackles, Cam has gotten a little bit better. Juwan has struggled at times, and Nick Bosa will flip sides. Where will he be at on 3rd and long? You'll find out pretty quick what the 49ers think about the Jaguars tackles when it's 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 8, and where's Nick Bosa going to line up? If he lines up on his left, they don't think very much of Juwan Taylor compared to Cam Robinson. If he's lining up on the right and the left, then they feel equally great about both tackles. It'll be interesting to see what they do.
You think Nick Bosa is a guy who can, hey, you know what, get out of my spot. I'm going to line up here. Does he have that authority to –
He's got that ability.
But can he be like, you know what, now I'm going to move?
Well, I mean, every coach is different as far as how that works out. Most of the coaches don't give the player the liberal freedom to be able to do that.
Okay.
But if you have a great player and he tells the coach, I can beat this guy, if the coach is smart, you're going to believe him.
Yeah, go prove
Because if he believes he can do it, he's got confidence to do it.
Wags, well done. We'll talk to you as the week goes along here.
You got it.
Jeff Lageman out of here. Thanks to Joe Fortunato, Brent Reber, our entire crew, head coach Urban Meyer. I'm JP Shadrick. This has been the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.